Rob Grimes with the IFBTA, and it's my pleasure to be introducing Kronos to the industry as our newest global industry partner member, and also Amanda Nichols, who is the Senior Manager of Industry Marketing for Food Service. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here.
You know, you guys started early on in retail and food service, and you focused on some other industries, healthcare and some of the other pieces that are there. And now you're back, in the food service industry because, as you said, that, they've really you're the thought leaders to help bring that there, but the food service industry, the food and beverage industry is really ready.
Yeah.
And so if we think about key learnings that have come from some of the other industries that were a little bit more forward thinking or investing across the board, maybe not so much forward thinking, but they were investing because they had the mass, to do that. What are the key things that, in the experience at Kronos in retail or healthcare or some of those things, what are the key learnings that the food and beverage community, should be getting that maybe they're not right now?
Yeah, I think one of them really has to do with the employee. And that's like one of the things that I love about the food service industry is all the conference and all the people I've met with and sort of everybody that I've interacted with over the last couple of years has a genuine love and appreciation for the employee. So I think from that perspective, the food service is already ahead of the game. They want nothing but the best for the employee. We talk a lot about from the dish room to the boardroom, and that's a phrase that I've truly grown to love because I've seen a lot of that in the conferences that I've been to and the people that I've interacted with. But some of the other industries have had the ability to take more steps a little early on to help support the employee in their growth through bringing all these systems together, really building out career paths for individual employees. And that's something that I know a lot of people within this space are talking about and looking to do, but you need modern technology to support that.
Right. Now, you've been with Kronos 3 years? Okay,
3
and you
years.
came from where?
I actually come from web development.
Web development. And
Yes.
was it web development in the retail industries, or was it just like
It was
web
in retail,
development?
yeah.
In retail.
Web development and retail focused primarily on e-commerce and digital marketing.
Okay, so with that kind of background, you certainly understood where food service companies are going when they're starting to do a lot more e-commerce,
Oh, yeah.
delivery, online ordering, and things like that. But you had that background. You came in and into something that's extremely focused because even in your title, it's retail and food service, right? Is there something that caught you by surprise? Is there something you weren't expecting that you just said, "Oh wow, I didn't know
boy.
about that"?
Honestly, the genuine love and emotion for the employees. So I've worked in restaurants. I started in high school. My first job in high school was at Arby's. I worked there for probably about 9 months. I worked at Chick-fil-A for a couple of years. I waited tables all through high school or all through college. So it's been. Then I took left the industry to sort of go into the e-commerce space, and then coming back to it, I remember why I love working in restaurants. Because in a restaurant, you have that camaraderie, you have that community. And now, from the perspective that I take on restaurants today, you can see that going all the way up to the chain, to the executives in the boardroom, and everyone at the leadership level is focused on fostering that kind of culture. And that did take me by surprise because you don't see that in any other industry that I've worked at. You don't see that in retail. You don't see it to this degree in hospitality. You don't see this in a distribution center or logistics company. So that component of it has really stuck with me. And it's something that I've really appreciated about sort of taking my career full circle back into the food service industry from this perspective.
So you have a history, you started your career, you're working in quick service and full service and things like that, and now you said, as you just said, you're back into it, right? So is there something that is available now that you wish had been available then?
Oh my
when you were
God,
doing
everything. Yeah, I think the number one thing is the flexible scheduling tools that are available today. I was 16 years old when I was working at Arby's, and I'm not going to date myself in saying how far back that was, but there was no internet.
Well, just to be clear, I remember the orange time clocks, and we were talking about quite a while back, so I get that.
I think the one I used at Arby's was green. I don't know if it was
Okay.
Kronos or someone else. But if I wanted to check my schedule, I had to stop by the restaurant, or I had to call, or I had to ask my friend Kyla, who, I knew was working later that afternoon, to look up my schedule for me. If I wanted to, swap a shift or drop a shift, I had to go through a phone list, and I had to call Kyla, and then I had to call David, and then I had to call Jennifer, and just, cross my fingers and hope someone was free to pick it up.
Well, the camaraderie and the closeness of the industry, and I think that because of the complexity of the industry,
Yeah.
people come in, you either love it or you don't, and if you love it, you just sort of do it
Yeah,
because the
that's a
hours and
good
everything else,
point.
right?
I think that has also surprised me, the sheer complexity of the restaurant industry and of food service. When I was working at Arby's and Chick-fil-A, I didn't really think anything of it because I was just, sort of your frontline employee. But now really understanding everything to do with inventory management and everything in back of house and all the different systems that they have to work with. And one of the big key differences between retail and food is the inventory. In retail, your t-shirts are still going to be perfectly
Right.
fine 6 months from now. In food, the broccoli is not. So you need to make sure that you really focus on, quality food management and food safety, and that's not a thing that the retail industry
Right,
has
but
to think
also
about.
the other big difference is because, you could argue that one or debate it that, in fact, they still have the same labor issues. However, they
Yes.
really don't because while you can predict probably more closely the amount of customers and things like that with variable cooking times and drive-throughs and things like that and different days of the week, you're probably much more impacted in the food and beverage industry than you would be in retail to have to react and make changes on the fly.
Yeah, I
Because
would
it's a more
totally agree
steady
with
thing,
that.
right? It's not just the inventory. I mean, the inventory, as we talked about earlier, you have perishable and not, but in this case, if you do not schedule the labor correctly here, not only to be a employer of choice to get them to want to work for you, but also just to handle the service of what you're
Yeah.
doing, it's a perishable piece in it. You cannot recover it.
Right, and guest satisfaction is a huge component of that. We work with Black Box Intelligence, who's a bit of a research think tank, and they pull together all sorts of data points to benchmark companies. And they find that they break it out into the best versus the rest. And their top performers and the best have much higher guest satisfaction surveys, and that leads to higher repeat visits and higher returns
Have
and
you
higher
tied
checks.
in which are the Kronos customers and which ones aren't?
We're looking into that. Yeah,
You're looking into
we're
that.
working
So
with
that's
them.
sort of, but actually, in reality, if you can show that you can impact the guest satisfaction score through labor and scheduling, and of course with it the labor cost
Yeah.
as well, because there's a delicate mix between the two, you could target the companies that are lower on that score to say, hey, if you use Kronos, this is how we're going to impact you in these particular ways
Yep.
in multiple touch points, right? And if you're already, so I would hope that once you do that correlation, that we find out that Kronos, in fact, is enabling and powering the ones that score the highest.
Yeah, and I mean, Black Box is able to sort of make ties between the like lower turnover rates among managers, leading to higher satisfaction among employees, leading to higher guest checks and increased repeat visits.
Right. Well, look, clearly, Kronos, across the board, has many solutions. It doesn't sound like you're, what is it, you're doing everything and you're not, an expert in any particular area. It actually sounds like you've picked the swim lanes you want to be in, and you will be the best of breed in those lanes. And then those other things that you're not, you'll go ahead and bring in, and you
Absolutely.
allow yourself to tie. I also got out of this that it's not an all-or-one piece, that you certainly work with the other industry standards, and obviously in dealing with franchisees, sometimes things are controlled, sometimes
Sure.
aren't. And also that you're not just bringing solutions, you're not a hardware company, you're bringing solutions to the table, but in reality, you're bringing thought leadership in a particular area.
Yeah, and we've got some of the best consultants in the business working for Kronos, and those consultants are available to help any of our food service or restaurant organizations, update their labor model, update their labor standards, optimize everything, and help increase employee satisfaction.
And starting from you on down, they have industry experience
Yes,
as well.
absolutely,
Right?
absolutely. A lot of our consultants within the restaurant space come from industry.
Well, we really, are happy to have, Kronos join the IFBTA as a global industry partner member, and I'm just sort of curious, why, why the IFBTA? Why did you choose to join the IFBTA? There's plenty of opportunities out there to get in front of operators. So
Yeah, I mean, restaurants are community. And that's what you guys are doing. You're building community with your chapter events and sort of your chapter networking and that the big body of members. We want to be part of this community, and we've really done a great job working with different operators and getting to know them and sort of trying to embed ourselves within the community in a very organic way. And the IFBTA offers a lot more structure in how we can get involved and how we can, sort of better understand the needs of our restaurant operators, better work with them, better support them, and then bring some of that knowledge back to Kronos as we build out our product roadmap to ensure that we
Right.
are building and investing in our products in ways that'll benefit the food service
Actually a
industry.
two-way street because
Absolutely.
you're bringing back information, but also the other piece of it that sort of makes the IFBTA and Kronos partnership something sort of different also is because of the communities and because the laws and labor are different in every community, and as we also not only expand in the US and North America but internationally, you're there as well. There's clearly, some thought leadership that you can bring forward for the members at the local basis, the national basis, and then in general in the industry.
That's the hope, yes.
Well, we are very proud to have you join us and glad that you're able to. And it's going to be interesting to continue to follow, what Kronos is doing and how you expand within the industry, and also looking at how we address the changing labor market and the technologies that are out there. So, welcome and
Thank you.
thank you. Amanda Nichols, welcome to the IFBT. I'm not going to welcome you back to the industry because you started in the industry, right? But it's great to have not only Kronos be a member, but also have your participation as well. And it's a pleasure to meet you today, and it is an honor to really have you join us, as our newest global industry partner member. So thank
We're
you.
thrilled to be here and looking forward to see where the journey takes us.
Great. Well, thank you.